Lolo, that's where I'm sitting.
Adventures of Paulo and Apollo.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you for watching. This video is all about Paulo.
My adventures of culture shock with Coming to America.
Okay, yeah,
I'm
so
sorry.
this video is going to be all about Paulo and kind of his first thoughts coming to America to live for the very first time.
So what? It's like a dream come true. I'm just playing. But yeah, no. So one of the first things... I immigrated here when I was around 5 or 6. And so I got here around December. So coming from a country whose baseline temperature was like 80 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit year round with like 70% humidity, to come into the South in like mid-November, December, it was around like 40 to 30 degrees. And so for the first time in my life, I had to don a jacket. And I was like, what is this?
Don a jacket?
Yeah, I had to put a jacket on.
Okay.
For the first time.
Yeah, we do live in the South, so I guess in the summers it would be pretty comparable to what the weather is in the Philippines, but in the winters it does get pretty cold.
When we got out of the airport, I was expecting like a whole bunch of jeepneys and trikes or something, but there just wasn't that. It was just a whole bunch of people's own personal vehicles. And I guess here in the South, like, yes, we do have like buses and trains that run on a schedule, but I was expecting more of, you know, like what I saw in the Philippines was like, you know, a whole bunch of jeepneys and trikes that were just always there for you to get from point A to point B. But it's just not what I saw.
Yeah, here to get from point A to point B, you have to have a car or some form of transportation. Luckily now there's Uber and Lyft, but back in the 90s that wasn't a thing. The only thing similar to that were taxis, and those weren't, I mean, you have them, but they're kind of expensive. So
and you had to call them, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had to call them, unless you're in the airport and you can flag them down, but you usually have to call them and they have to come pick you up. Yeah, so another thing that I noticed was when we went to get food for the first time at like a fast food restaurant like McDonald's and whatnot, they didn't have my favorite items. I was like, where's my spaghetti? Where is my fried chicken? Where is the rice? Where is the rice? Where is my halo halo and all that stuff? Like, what is this hamburger? Like, what was the obsession with sandwiches and fries? Like, it was just not what I was so used to. Like, I loved like, you know, like the Jollibee. Like, there was no Jollibees within like 500 miles of me where we live. So that was a interesting way to get used to it.
Yeah, rice is not a common side in the US unless you're getting Chinese food or Mexican food, like certain specialty foods, or there might be like one or two dishes with it as a side at a restaurant, but it's not, you don't have rice with everything.
Yeah, no, that was disappointing because growing up, you know, in the Philippines we have rice with breakfast, lunch, dinner, but like
You look so irritated.
Like, don't.
What else?
What do you mean? What else?
What else?
Oh, also in the Philippines with the fast food, like back in the 90s and even now, like we used to just get it delivered to the house. But growing up, like we had to literally get in the car, drive to the fast food place, you know, and go through the drive-through, which was not convenient at all. But you know, it's different now. It's with the past year with the upcoming of Uber Eats and Postmates and all those type of services. But in the Philippines, it was commonplace.
Yeah, so that's common now with, just like Paulo said, with Uber Eats and stuff here. You can have different restaurants deliver. Before that, even 2-3 years ago, the only things that could be were common to be delivered were pizza and Chinese food. That's it.
But anyways, another thing that I found with the cuisine was that the ice cream flavors, like you know, growing up I had ube, which is, you know, a purple yam, purple potato, avocado ice cream, coconut ice cream, what other ice creams, mango, like all these like interesting different tropical flavors And you couldn't even find it here in the United States. Oh, the street food, the lack of street food here in the United States. Like everything is in a restaurant. You have to go to a restaurant or a fast food store. Like you can't just walk out your house, walk a couple blocks and come up onto like a street vendor that's selling their food. And that is something I miss, like eating the Filipino barbecue, like just on the street, and eating like the fish balls and all that stuff, which was delicious. Not the best thing for you, but boy was it good. And food trucks are have been on a come up for a while now here too. That's, I guess you can kind of call that street
We have
food,
food
but not
trucks, but usually the food trucks are still even in an area with only food trucks. Or
Right.
sometimes they'll be at certain businesses, but you have to have like
a license.
To be able to even be there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of regulated.
Right. And also another thing, like if we needed like something like a 2 liter of like some soft drink or like shampoo or conditioner and just basic household items, my grandmother would just give me money and I just walk a couple houses over and go to like what we call a sari store and buy stuff from
What do
there.
you call it?
Sari store.
A sari store.
Yeah. And it's literally like in my little neighborhood we had like maybe like 10. And it was just owned, family run, and whatnot.
So just like a store on the street?
Yeah, no, in their house, like out of the garage. Everything here in the United States is like large. Like all portion sizes are large, like containers and stuff is large. And in the Philippines, everything is like single use. Like we had single use little packets of shampoo and whatnot. I remember even cigarettes were sold per cigarette kind of thing.
Yeah, here all cigarettes come in packages, or like
Packs.
What do you call it? A pack of cigarettes. I think it's illegal to sell them just by ones, or that's not very common.
Yeah, but that's what I remember my uncles telling me and whatnot. But I don't smoke. Okay, so when I used to buy Coca-Cola, or in the north they call it Pepsi here, right, or something like that, or Pop.
We call it Pop.
Pop or whatever.
Yeah.
You can either get it one or two ways. One, in the regular original container, or two, my favorite, out of like a transparent plastic bag, and you hold it and you put a straw in and you drink from it. That was my favorite.
I would not, as a child, even as an adult, I probably would not be able to hold a bag of soda without spilling it.
I mean, I spilled it one time, but the people, the owners were gracious enough to give me another one, so I was really thankful for that. But yeah, that was good. One of my favorite childhood memories was just like drinking the Coke out of the bag with like all my friends from the neighborhood just chilling. It's good. Yeah, good times. Oh, here in the United States, like I said, everything's bigger. Buffets weren't a thing in the Philippines.
What'd you say?
Buffets.
Oh, buffets, like eating buffet. Like,
yeah, buffets.
to
Like,
go
like
out to
all
eat.
you can eat buffets. Yeah, Chinese, Golden Corral, and all. Ryan's growing up, that wasn't really a thing. So that was different. Like my family, like we used to eat at buffets like all the time.
When you came here?
Yeah, because it was mind-boggling that you could pay one price and eat all of this expansive amounts of food. And it's not really a big thing in the Philippines because like people would like the restaurants would charge you if you had food left over on your plate after you ate.
Wow, like I never finish my food, so
Yeah.
I would be charged probably all the time. Yeah, here, like even in high school and stuff, I was a waitress, and like rarely do people eat everything on their plate. Like when I started dating Paulo, he would like scrape his plate, and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
See, that's another thing.
And I thought that was the strangest thing. Like, we don't have to eat like every single grain or crumb on our plate. Usually there's so much stuff that gets thrown away here. It's not looked down upon if you don't finish your food or if you don't take or eat leftovers. That's not a big
See, that's another thing that was mind-boggling to me. The amount of food that we waste here in the United States growing up. Like, I was just like, what? You barely ate your food. Like, you're just gonna throw it away? Like, yeah, it's okay. I'm just like, what?
Yeah, so that's different.
That is different, yes. Another thing is, so growing up, I grew up, I grew up not wealthy, but kind of like middle class in the Philippines. And so
between your two families.
Yeah, between my two families. So we were fortunate enough to have like our house. But then across the street from us would be like people that were termed squatters, which are people that would build little houses, kind of not even houses, like huts out of tin, aluminum tin, and wood and whatever other materials that they can get their hands on. And they would live like, they would stack it one on top of the other. Not the safest place to live, but some of the best people that you could probably ever meet. Really nice people. And so yeah, it was like kind of mind-boggling coming to see here that there was none of that. Like everybody seemed kind of like
everybody has a house.
Yeah, everybody has a house or
Well,
somewhere okay to live unless you're homeless. But that's like the equivalent of squatters, I think, here in the United States.
I think the difference is, or that I noticed, was in the Philippines, like they all lived together, like in one big area.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was interesting to see. Like you'd see, or like houses, or like the house that you grew up in. When we went down that road, it was like a house you grew up on one side of the street, and then like a village
of squatters, community squatters, yeah.
And it looked like so drastically different, but in the same areas. So I think that was different. And definitely not everybody has a home in America. Not everybody is rich in America either.
Another thing about food, like culturally, like in the Philippines, like some restaurants, it would be okay for you to use your hands to eat. Like if we went out and whatnot, like we use our hands to eat. But here in the United States, it's really looked down upon. Yeah.
Yeah. So the differences in eating styles, I guess to kind of make it more clear, in America, it's looked down upon if you're a noisy or a messy eater. Like things like eating with your hands. If it's like, you can eat French fries, of course, and hamburgers and stuff with your hands, but eating with your hands or like licking your fingers or slurping is looked down upon. Yeah,
but like in the Philippines, sometimes you're eating with your hands, like rice and whatnot. Rice and adobo and all that stuff. It's
that was definitely something I hadn't seen or experienced until dating you.
And then like, I don't know. Like I like to use spoons. Like if I'm eating, growing up, I used to like eat like with a spoon and fork at the same time sometimes too. And then it was just coming here as well, and it was just like you only use the fork and you only use a spoon for soups or whatnot. I'm just like, what?
A spoon for liquid and fork for solid.
Yeah, but in the Philippines, it's just like that's how I grew up eating because the fork has like spaces in between and food can fall through. So I don't think it's really efficient to eat with a fork sometimes, but it is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, that was just me. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I got.
Cool. Well, we hope you enjoyed this video and hearing a little bit more about how Paulo grew up in the Philippines and a little bit more about his point of view coming to America for the first time and the differences. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.